remember my name if you need to by thinking either of the superhero or the bird, and both are relevant, both to me and to this story. I've been coming to Option for maybe 2.5 years, and I've been looking for ways to bring this philosophy that we know and love into my own life, not just to get out of unhappiness, to feel better when I'm doing poorly, but to really accelerate my own performance in a lot of different areas. So this story is about how I've taken the Option philosophy and the use of questions and the attitude to really just create something really amazing in my life. Since I was really little, I wanted to be like Batman and Robin. Robin was from the circus, he was a trapeze artist. So 2 years ago, I started training gymnastics at Stanford University in California. And right from the beginning, I kind of looked over across this big gym at, it's called the high bar. It's like this high and like maybe 6 feet across, and you jump up and you hang on. And ideally, if you've been training it for 10 years, you can go all the way around with your body totally straight and pause at the top and keep going around and around and around. And I saw people doing this, and it was like so awe-inspiring. And I asked people at gym, where do you start? And they're like, you didn't start when you were 5, probably shouldn't. You're gonna die. Just don't do it. So I had that belief for a while. And then last September, October, I started training just a couple of the little pieces necessary to get to that. And then last July, I really sat down and I wrote a big long list. I have the list of all of the components that I need to learn in order to get a gymnastics high bar. And instead of setting the goal as being able to do the full giant on the high bar, I said, okay, what are one little step in one direction, one little step in another direction? And all summer, I started training handstands. I started training the calluses on my hands so that I could hold myself on the bar to go all the way around. And I remember the day that I got the giant. I was like so coursing with adrenaline, because it's super scary. You're like 12 feet off the ground at the high end, right? And 6 feet off the ground at the low end. And I was petrified of falling. Even though you might fall in a big foam pit, I was so scared that I was gonna like kill myself or something. And so I had fallen off like 4 or 5 times, pretty exhausted in my hands and physically, mentally. And I went over and I sat down with a piece of paper and I started asking myself, okay, Robin, you're shaking. Why are you shaking? And all of a sudden it was just like, whew, the adrenaline, the fear was gone. And it was like, oh, I'm shaking because I'm afraid I'm gonna die. It's like, huh, why are you afraid that you're going to die? And with that sort of calmness, I went back up, I climbed onto the block, I got back on the high bar, I had a perfect cast, which is how you get up to the top, and then I came around and I paused at the top and I came around and I came down. And it was just this realization that by applying these super simple little tiny steps, not holding the end goal of getting that final giant, but practicing the little steps. And then when I get stuck asking myself a couple of questions, it's really possible to do things that feel impossible without that process.